Hey there, welcome back to Limabean Living. If you guys are new here, my name is Emily, and in today's video, I am prepping for my daughter's second birthday party. She loves rocks, and so I decided to go with a rock-themed party. As you can see here, I'm just kind of categorizing and organizing all of the things that I made in advance, which will be coming up in a future video. I will be sharing how I did a bunch of different DIYs that made my life a whole lot easier the night before and the day of the party. So I wanted to do some rock painting activities. I found some fun rock books up in my parents' library, and I had some little treats that were rock themed. I also did a DIY stone, so there's a little mystery gift inside each of those, and you guys will get to see some footage in a future video of the rocks actually being used. And then I had some other little giveaways that I had prepared in the prior weeks. So here I am blowing up a lot of balloons. Juan actually helped me, otherwise it would have taken me like 5 years to do this. And I created these really cute towers. So the way that you actually create this is pretty easy. The first thing you want to do is you want to take 2 balloons and tie them together. And then you want to do that one more time. And once you have your 2 sets of 2 balloons, you want to twist them together so that they become like a little 4-leaf clover type shape. Once you have as many of those as you want, I think I stacked about 8 on top of each other. You're gonna secure it with a weight. In this case, for my second stand, I didn't have an additional just regular balloon weight, and so I just used a can of sweetened condensed milk that had a little tab that I could tie a string onto. And what you do is you stack 1 4-leaf clover on top of the next, and you just kind of wrap the rope or the yarn or whatever ribbon you're using kind of around the balloons, securing it to one another. And that way the balloons will stand kind of firmly on top of one another without toppling over. Again, once you stack up as many of these as you want, one on top of the next, using the yarn or the ribbon to kind of secure each level to the previous level, you can, if you want, have one balloon kind of at the very top. This could be a similar balloon to what you used, like I did, or if you have like the number 2 balloon or a special birthday balloon, you could secure that to the top as well. But I just used one of the balloons that we got from the Dollar Tree, and I tied it to the end of the yarn that I was using just to kind of give this a rounded off look. Now I am 5'9", so these towers were probably about 6 feet tall, and that was again with 8 little 4-leaf clovers of balloons stacked on top of each other. I also tied some balloons to a piece of yarn and secured those balloons up top to kind of connect the 2 balloon towers as you're looking at my birthday display. These balloons I actually got from the Dollar Tree. The marble ones came in a pack of 10, and the solid colored ones came in a pack of 15. So this was a really great find from the Dollar Tree, and for the $6 worth of balloons and then the $2 worth of plastic tablecloths that you guys can see that I prepared in advance and hung up in advance. For $8, this really gave our little birthday party an over-the-top look, and that was exactly what I was going for. Then I kind of just tried to place things around the table, kind of getting a feel for the right flow for the table, for the snacks and the little treats and the giveaways and the activities. I wanted everything to kind of fit together nicely and not seem too crowded. I ended up not using some of the glass bowls that I had taken out, and you guys will see that later on in the video. As you can see, there was still a lot of work to do in the kitchen, but I decided to kind of leave that for the next day and go and set up our extra table in our dining room. I topped off the table decorations with some of my homemade confetti, as well as these little egg geodes that I made in the weeks prior to the party. And if you want to figure out how I made these for pretty cheap, make sure to subscribe. It will be in a future video. So here we're at the next day. It's the day of the party. our party was going to start at 3 p.m. So I did have a good amount of time in the morning to kind of finish getting ready. I prepared the strawberries and all of the fresh foods that we were going to be eating that day, the morning of. I decided to go with meatball subs. I thought that we could call them like boulders in lava. I really wanted to go with this rock theme. And so we were just doing the crock pot for this. This made the main course really easy and stress-free for that day. The other major thing that was like my key priority the day of the party was to decorate my cake. Now, I had prepared the cake and the frosting in advance, but I saved the cake decorating until the day of because we didn't have too much refrigerator space and I wanted to make sure that this cake was cool the day of the party. And so this was like my main attraction, my main worry for that morning, just to make sure that, my first time doing a geode cake turned out to be a success, and I hope that you guys will like the final product. My family and I really loved the taste of this cake, and I will be sharing all of the details that you guys need to know to make the cake, as well as the super easy buttercream in a future video. So again, if you want that info, make sure you subscribe and stick around so that you don't miss it. I then put the cake in the fridge to kind of firm up that crumb coat, and decided to move on to preparing our Brussels sprouts. Now, I originally wanted Brussels sprouts because they were round and, needed a vegetable for our main course, but I ended up cutting them up because some of them were quite large. So we went ahead and just nicknamed these guys Jade, since that is a green stone, to kind of fit with our rock theme. Now, I really love roasted Brussels sprouts. Funny story, when I was little, I would actually trade my dessert for my dad's Brussels sprouts, and then I went through a long phase of hating them. But now I like them again, and I love them roasted, so I drizzle on some vegetable oil and then salt and pepper, and then roast them in the oven for about 15 minutes at like 400 degrees, and it goes very well with ranch. So this was a hit for some people. A lot of my other family doesn't really like vegetables anyways, so it was just a healthy option with all of the other junk food that I had prepared. The other last minute kind of setup was some of our food that I had prepared in advance that needed to be cool. So I made some chocolate covered Rice Krispie treats to kind of look like Shelly limestone, and I prepared some Jolly Ranchers to look like some agate or some like geode kind of cutouts. And so that was kind of put out towards the last minute, as well as some toffee that was in the freezer that I had made in the previous weeks. By that time, the crumb coat on my cake had firmed up, and so it was time to add the final layer of frosting as well as the decorations of the cake. I was actually really proud of how this final product turned out, especially since I didn't have my more elaborate cake decorating supplies. I didn't have an offset spatula, so I used like a serrated bread knife because it was just long and straight. And like I said, I'm really proud of how this turned out. I think that it was a pretty smooth finish for the buttercream, and that was all that I was hoping for. My geode decoration, I think, turned out okay. In the future, if I wanted to give it an even higher end look, I would probably get some like liquid edible gold to kind of decorate the edges of the geode decoration, but I had to work with what I had, and I think I made it work. I went ahead and finished off the cake with a homemade topper that I had DIY'd a couple days in advance, and I also used 2 candles from a pack that I got from the Dollar Tree. I want to thank you for joining me on this little journey. As you guys could probably tell, my little 2-day setup had a lot going on, but it would have been a whole lot worse had I not prepared tons of stuff in advance. And so that is what next week's videos are going to be all about. I am going to share with you guys my DIYs, my little gifts for the kiddos that are going to come and celebrate with Aubrey, as well as a lot of the decorations that I made. And then I'm also going to walk you through all of the food that I prepped in advance, all of the little treats. And then, as I mentioned, the cake will be its own separate video because it deserves all of the attention just for itself. If you guys like this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you guys are new. I'd love to have you stick around, and I will catch you in the next one. Woohoo! You've made it to the end of the video. If you didn't know already, my name is Emily from Limabean Living. Welcome. We are so happy to have you. We post videos every Monday and Friday on a variety of content: lifestyle, cooking, cleaning, military life, DIYs, encouraging mathematical development in children, and so much more. Thank you so much again for watching, and until next time.